And the Chargers D knows how to torment Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Well, at least they did.
Yes, they did.
On Sunday.
They do. Yeah, they know how to torment him. This defense, I like this defense, certainly.
So this comes from Pete, our producer.
Okay.
He put in the rundown here.
Yeah.
This is what you said. He's quoting you from Sunday night.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is before you looked at film.
Cool.
This was just your gut.
Right.
You said, I know the Chargers D hasn't been its best lately, but I don't look at it and say people have cracked the code. So, how do you say they're not at their best when they're creating all those turnovers, right?
Right.
But Atlanta was able to move the ball.
Yep.
And you thought they actually messed the game up a few times and just threw the turnover or did not score when they had the opportunity.
Right.
So taking a deeper dive into the film, what did that uncover for you?
Yeah, okay. While we're at that, why don't you read the next comment there? Just because we're on it, I think it sets it up for all this.
The cosmic loner is chiming in now. Chris, first, I love you. Oh, that's why you wanted to read it. I get it. The Falcons did not outplay the Chargers. The Falcons had 4 turnovers.
Well, I get that. Thank you. And I understand that. Now,
and we love you too, Cosmic Loner.
We do. We totally do. And I will say, Cosmic Loner, after watching the film, the Falcons didn't maybe control it to the extent of what I thought on Sunday watching the game, right? Again, I'm watching 7 other games while it's going on, so it's hard for me to be spot on. But I will still push back against you and go, no, they almost had double the yardage of the Los Angeles Chargers. And they drove down the field one time and missed a 19-yard field goal. And they drove down again, and Kirk Cousins he just threw the ball up to the Chargers and said, here you go. I don't even know. I'm inside the red zone, but here's this is a one-arm hook shot into the back of the end zone. Who wants to pick it off? So there was some stuff like that, right? Let alone the pick six. They were kind of driving-ish, kind of in red zone territory. The first interception to Reeb still was kind of fringe. We're getting in field goal territory. So I do still feel like Atlanta kind of controlled the game to a degree, but nothing was easy, I think is the point. It was not easy, right? And what I say about the Chargers. The Chargers, like Vic Fangio and what we talked about with the Eagles, I think are as good as passing people off in zones as anybody in the sport right now when it comes to zone coverage. They want to play too deep. They are basically like, you got to run for like 50 yards with your running back before we get out of too deep. We don't believe it. We're going to continue to do that. And they don't have a ton of different coverages. But early on when Atlanta's moving the ball, right, the Chargers are interesting in their adjustments of where you go, oh, man, their zones are kind of being picked apart a little bit. I guess they're going to start blitzing and playing man-to-man here. And no, what they do is they just go, no, we're going to find other zones we like that we think make more sense against this formation and what you're doing to us right now. So that's where they're kind of cool, too. They don't go just like, oh, they picked apart our cover 4. We got to blitz and play man-to-man now. We're in trouble. They just go, no, I think if we play our 3 match or our quarter half, that'll give them some problems. And they kind of figure out what it is they finally want to dial up against personnel and formations.
You do think they have the ability to play more man, though.
They do. And I think when Asante Samuel gets back healthy at corner, Christian Fulton is out there, I think they can do it. They can. And I think there's at times where I go, I wish they would do it a little bit more just to keep a team off balance, and especially a team like you've heard me say with Atlanta, where I go, they're not man-to-man beaters. All you got to worry about is Darnell Mooney. He's the only guy that you really got to worry about down the field, to where I'd go in those kind of games, I would dabble in man just a little bit more.
Because London's more of a 50-50 ball guy.
He's a
as
big
is
guy,
Pitts,
a route runner. Exactly. Pitts is the same way. That's one of the problems with Atlanta. You've heard me say this. I'll say it again. Big plays are a problem. They don't make big plays. Every drive is 11 plays, 65 yards, 12 plays, 72 yards. Every drive. They never have a slant route that goes for 60. Bijan Robinson, as good as he is, it's never really a run more than 15 or 10 yards, right? He's not as good as Jahmyr Gibbs. Everybody in the draft process got that wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in that draft because Jahmyr Gibbs is hit your head on the goalpost every time he gets a hole. So there's that. So they have a hard time that way, let alone Kirk Cousins isn't I throw bombs deep down the field, laser kind of quarterback. So it's work. And that's where it fits the Chargers, because the Chargers are like, we love for you to drive 12 plays because we think, and case in point in this game, when you throw 12 plays, one of those plays, you're going to it up. and we're going to be there to capitalize, whether we hit you as you're throwing, confuse you with coverage, do any of that. And we had a little bit of all of that going on early in the football game.
So let's take a closer look at Kirk Cousins here, because that is one of the talking points out there in the NFL media. It's like, is it time for Michael Penix to take over for Kirk Cousins? So here's the numbers. Last 3 games for Kirk. Haven't won any of them.
Right.
Hasn't thrown a touchdown.
Nope.
6 interceptions, which 4 of them did come in this last game. This is the first time in his career he has gone 3 straight games without a touchdown.
Yeah.
So Kirk has not done this.
Well, this is why I had to watch it. I mean, Kirk Cousins is. This is one of the best pocket passing quarterbacks of the last 10 or 15 years in the NFL. I mean, he's known for lightning quick, like, decisions, seeing the field perfectly, going to the perfect place with the football, accurate throws, all that. None of that happened in this football game. None of it. He didn't look like himself. The ball hung in the air. He didn't have power on the football. He has a little bit of a problem right now where he's bending at the waist like a pitcher, right? Like, we always talk about quarterbacks. It's around, right? And like your throwing arm should almost go to the opposite pectoral, right? He, at times in the game, was like a pitcher off the mound, bent over, folded at the waist with the arm down by the opposite pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Those are not positions you want to be in as a thrower. That's you're not going to create power of that. But between that and then getting confused by the Chargers and some of their coverages and what they were doing, it was about as shaky and as rough as I've seen Kirk Cousins look.
All right, so let's see if Kirk should be benched now, and we'll pick 2 random plays, both of which he looked very bad.
He shouldn't be benched. Let me just say that.
Okay.
No way. They're 6-6. They're in the lead for the NFC South right now. They have the tiebreaker against the Bucs. You don't want to throw your rookie quarterback in there right now. Right? Like, what's that going to do? That's not a great recipe for success either. Hey, we're kind of struggling on offense, right? Things are going bad. And, hey, you could come in and maybe you could save the day, but the chances are you're going to be a rookie and have to get used to things.
Yeah.
And you're not going to save the day, and we're going to lose, and then we're going to go in the offseason and go, I don't know, should Michael Penix be the starter? He didn't look very good. You're not setting him up for success here doing that either. So, no, you stay with Kirk Cousins, and you let him work himself out of this little slump they got going on.
And here's the slump. We've got a couple plays that
cool.
detail that. This one is in the third quarter, about midway through. It's a 3rd and 5. I think we've shown exclusively 3rd and 5 so far in the screenshots.
Seriously, you're right.
This is at the Chargers 23, so they're 23 yards away from scoring here. What are we looking here? It's an all-out blitz by the Chargers.
All-out blitz. This is what they did. And, Derwin James, he talked to Florio, and he said one of their things was to, like, give him different looks, right? Give Kirk Cousins different looks. He's smart. Everybody knows that. So if you line up in your coverage, he's going to figure that out, and he's going to dice you up. By this look right here, there's 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. He thinks I got all-out blitz.
Looks like it.
Right? It looks like it. And it is all-out blitz, but just with a little bit of a caveat. Because this is where the Chargers are smart. They've watched film. They've probably watched, they watch every all-out blitz Kirk Cousins has gotten all year. They realize, what he likes to do? When they get these looks, they have these little bunch. They like to throw it over the middle in these all-out blitz looks. So what do? They give you an all-out blitz look, and then they're going to drop 2 people out in the middle to cover their asses for those underneath, right over the middle type throws. So let's go to it. Let's see the next picture, Pete. As you go to the next picture, you'll see he's dropping back. Still, it's all out still.
Yep.
Right? But you could see there's a defender there on the left hash who is right over the center who's starting to drop out, right? And look where his eyes are. He's looking at the 3 receivers to the right, going, all right, they taught me to look over there. Somebody's supposed to come over here to the middle close to me. And let's go to the next picture. We'll see. And I believe it ends up being Rodney McLeod here, who's over the middle. And our man Deion Henley is sitting there looking him up. And you could see Kirk Cousins is staring down McLeod I guess doesn't even see Deion Henley. And he's going to throw the ball. And let's go to the next picture. And he's going to throw the ball. And not only does it get tipped to the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure it would have been intercepted if it didn't get tipped.
So he actually got bailed out
here. He might have got bailed out. It is going to be very dicey. But that is one instance, again, of them tricking Kirk Cousins and giving different looks throughout the game. They certainly confused him that way. They made him feel uncomfortable, right? Their pass rush, it wasn't like they got a lot of sacks, but they did a good job of being around him and not making him feel real comfortable either. And that was a big part of their success.
But as you saw, they're driving the ball into Chargers territory, and then end of the third quarter, they're driving it into Chargers territory again here at the 40-yard line. They decide to go for it on 4th and 5.
Right.
And here's the pick six.
Here's the pick six. And look at the alignment. It's exactly the same as the play you just saw.
Yeah.
By both teams, really. It's the same thing, right? So it's very similar. It's, again, 7 men at the line of scrimmage with almost the exact same alignment. And now this time they have a different play called. And I'm sure within this, they thought, hey, once we drop the guy over the middle out, they'll start to go, well, we can't do the over the middle against all-out blitz. Let's go outside. It's a little safer over there. So this is where Jesse Minter, the D coordinator, he's smart, and he's going, wait, I think this will be their next move. So now here they are on all-out. Go to the next picture, Pete. They say set HUD. He drops back. What do? They drop into Tampa 2. A Tampa 2 invert, more specifically, where the corners are playing safety and the safeties are kind of playing corner. You see Derwin James down here? He's playing corner. Christian Fulton, who looked like he was off playing man-to-man, is now going to drop back to be that cover 2 safety on that side. Kirk Cousins is going to look to the right side here, okay? And as he's looking here out to the right, he's got a guy, I believe it's Mooney, who's going to act like he's going to run like, I'm running, you know how teams run like the 5-yard route and then they 5-yard out route, but then they come back in underneath everything?
Sure.
Right? They kind of run out and then they stop and they retrace and come back inwards.
Yep.
They are going to kind of fake that because they're going, you guys pass off people really well, and we do this a lot. So we're going to act like the guy is going to clear him out, and then this guy's going to run out route, and you're going to be waiting for him to come back in, but we're going to fake him coming back in and then just keep him going back out. And so Kirk Cousins has got that, and he's thinking, wait, I got the right coverage for this as he drops back, and I don't think he really realizes it's cover 2 when he's doing this. So now let's go to the next picture, Pete. As he's throwing the ball, right? I think he's thinking, I'm getting some sort of single safety defense, and I should have free access on my out route up the top of the screen. And you could see Darnell Mooney, who's just faked coming back in, is now continuing back out. Kirk Cousins is in the throwing motion, and still the cover 2 corner, look at what you explain it, right?
He's breaking on it.
He's breaking on it. His eyes are all over the quarterback. He sees Cousins is about to throw it, and it becomes a throw basically right to Still into his chest. Pick 6. See you later. And that was a huge part of the football game and really ended the game. I don't want to say ended it, but certainly put the Chargers in power position.
Turn the momentum there for sure. But these are all things, I mean, these are obviously bad mistakes by Kirk Cousins. You think he can get it back on the rails, or he is still the best chance for the Falcons to get it back on the rails?
I think it's exactly right. I think he's the best chance. And again, this is a defense. This Chargers D is good. Back to Pete's quote and all that. The code has not been cracked. The Ravens are damn good, okay? It's hard to stop them. They put some problems. It's a tough matchup for them. We talked about the Bengals the week before that. The Bengals did not crack the code. We broke that down. That was just unbelievable throws and plays by Chase and Higgins and Burrow. They're on fire right now. On fire to a point where Mike Tomlin, during the thing last night, goes, we have the Lamar rules. I think we need to start having the Burrow rules. He says that to his team. And he starts to go through rules of like, we got to stop Joe Burrow because he's on fire, right? But so that to that point, this is still a really good D. The Chargers, the speed of their safeties is really, I think, one of the keys to their football team. They're so good at coverage. And then the other thing they do, because they like to play 2 deep so much, Ahmed, they're so quick in 2 deep. And because they're fast, they can get up and help in the run game in a hurry. So it's like, hey, they can drop back and play coverage, but as soon as they see the run, because of their speed, they do get up there and get involved in the run game very quickly for safeties that are playing 2 deep coverage. But yeah, that was a bad game by Kirk Cousins. As shaky as I've seen him look physically and mentally with some of the decisions, and the Chargers are a pain in the butt on defense and a pain in the butt in general.
Will they be a pain in the butt to the Kansas City Chiefs, who they play on Sunday Night Football? Will. They held them to just 17 points in Week 4. The only problem was they only scored 10.
I know. That's going to be the problem with the Chargers. You know, it's going to be J.K. Dobbins is hurt. They're not real explosive at running back. They're not real explosive at receiver. And if Quentin Johnson can't catch the fucking ball, then they're limited in options. And the old lad McConkey can only do so much to help them out on a week-to-week basis.
And how about this for Kirk? Trying to get back on track, back in Minnesota, heading back there.
It's going to be awesome. And he's going to be under it again this game. He's going to be under it. I mean, Minnesota, they're going to do a lot of this type of stuff. All-out blitz, drop into something else. Oh, it looks like this. We're end up in something else. And when you're not throwing the ball well, it starts to affect what you see and your decisions and all that. Huge game. I mean, huge game between Atlanta trying to keep lead in the NFC South. Yeah. Huge lead, and like the most under-talked about thing in football is that the Vikings are only one game out from having the best record in football. It's kind of pretty. It's pretty amazing.
It's one of those. If you're a fan of the Falcons, you're going to say the familiarity that Kirk Cousins has against that Minnesota defense is going to help him. And if you're the fan of the Vikings, you're going to be like, the familiarity they have with Kirk Cousins is going to help them.
I think Kirk Cousins has the advantage in this one.
You do.
I do, just because he did get because Kirk Cousins, they're going to know some things about him, but it's still going to be like, we got to know Zach Robinson's offense. Kirk is going to go, wait, I've seen these plays. I've seen this. I've heard when Harrison Smith says, chunky two, that means cover two. Yeah. We're going to blitz this guy, whatever. He's going to know some of their calls.
You don't think maybe they might change chunky two to
they
skinny
might.
three?
They might, but they better be all over that, because there's going to be things, and then there's going to be things he just knows and goes, oh, when they line up like this, they like to do that. Here,
or when he says anything, I know they're probably going into this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's where I feel like he probably has a little more advantage than they do in this one. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.